Hello everyone, welcome back to the Will the Reaper channel. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking how likely it is that I can survive fighting each one of these Clash Royale cards, from no damage to minor injuries such as some cuts and bruises, major injuries such as broken bones, being barely alive or severely hospitalized, and then just straight up dead. No chance I could beat these people. The rules are simple. I get 1 day to train, because these cards have had years of training, and I can only use their weapon. So for example, first one, skeletons, I'm only going to have a knife. But when it comes to spells and buildings, I have a realistic budget of like 100 grand. Because, arrows, I can't fight arrows with arrows. It just wouldn't work. So to make things fair. But every other card, I have to use their weapons. So first one up, skeletons. So 3 short skeletons, all with shanks. Realistically, I think I would come out of here with some minor injuries. I certainly wouldn't take any damage unless one of them could get a really powerful stab in like my groin or my chest. I don't think they would have the speed or the reach to get me in any vital organs or even just to stab me in general. I think I could kind of just kick them. And then once they're knocked down, I could just stab them. So I could just do a quick kick and stab because their heads are much bigger than the rest of their body. And they don't have a lot of range. So I think because I have more range in them, I'd come out of this with some minor injuries. Bomber. So I'd have a bomb that I could throw back at the bomber. I'm not that hand-eye coordinated, and that guy can throw bombs like crazy. So because of that, I think I'd probably come out barely alive. Maybe I could just get one really good shot at him, but I'm probably dead. If I have to throw a heavy bomb at the rate and speed that he does that, I'm not surviving that. That's literally a grenade that's just gonna blow me up every single time. Goblins. Goblins are a little bit worse. I think I'd come out of here barely alive. I think if I could, they also have knives similar to skeletons. They're also not as big or strong, but there's 4 of them instead of 3 skeletons. And I think they could probably just topple over me. But the thing that makes it somewhat manageable is that I would have longer reach than them as well. Because similar to skeletons, they're not super big or brawny. And I feel like if I could just get a nice stab in the head in each one of them and just, finish off like that. But I'd probably get stabbed so badly that I'd be hospitalized. If not, I'd probably just bleed out and die. Spear goblins. Okay, I'd have a spear that I'd have to throw at them. Now, they throw them pretty fast. And I feel like it'd be very difficult. But I also feel like while they're throwing, I could probably just stab them with their spears. The problem is that there's 3 of them, and they throw them really fast. So, I'd probably come out dead. I'd really think I'd come out dead. Okay, the zap spell. Honestly, zap spell, no damage. I'm just gonna sit in my car. I don't even have to use part of my budget of like 100 grand. I could just sit in my car. It'll go right to the rubber. I'll be safe. I'll be fine. No damage. The knight. So I'll get armor and I'll get a sword. Now, seeing that he only has 1 attack, which is just an up slash, right? It just does this little up slash. I would just have to dodge left and right. So while he's doing that, I could just feel like I could just dodge one of his downward slashes and stab him. So I don't think I would take any. I honestly don't think I would really take any injury if I could dodge that. He is kind of fast, but if he's only doing 1 attack, you could kind of just keep bopping and weaving. I have a day to prepare. So I could play like Night Simulator at the boxing gym and hire somebody to just keep doing this, and I could, practice bobbing and weaving. Archers. I'm not good at archery. I think I'd barely alive, actually. Because if I get their weapon, right, and I'd have to shoot with them, I'd be dead. But if I could realistically just take their arrows and stab them, I might be able to get them in time. And I think I could. I think I would, but I'd be barely alive to do so. If not, I'd be dead. Minions. Minions, I'd say major injury. Um, there's three of them. I'd have to throw balls of dark elixir at them, which is probably like the equivalent of like a 5-pound ball. Now, they have to be close to me to actually hurt me. So if I could build up some strength or some nice target practice, and I could practice throwing balls at them, I think I'd have a chance. But maybe one gets too close to me, or maybe I just tire myself out, and then they get me. But I think I'd probably come out of this with some major injuries. I think one of them would probably hit me, and it would either hit me in the head, give me a concussion, or it would probably like break my arm or something. Or I think I might pull a muscle actually from throwing too much. Um, Arrows, I could just sit in my car again, or sit in my house, or just build a hut. I could just build a hut. Cannon. Now here's the problem with cannon, right? Cannon blasts are really powerful. I don't know if you guys know, but cannon blasts are unbelievably strong. Um, I'd have to dodge, like I'd have to really bop and weave. But realistically, I think I'm not coming out of that alive. Maybe barely alive. If I can just somehow manage to just dodge all of them. But if one of them hits me, I'm basically dead. And if I try getting a riot shield, I don't think it would work either. And if I used a car or a truck and it hits the car, I'm most certainly dead. So I'd have to do some major dodging for that. Tesla, same thing with Zap. I could just sit in my car. Well, I'd have to take it down somehow. So I'd have to get a truck and ram into it, which might kill me. So we're gonna put in major injury. I think if I get the biggest truck I could find for 100 grand, ram right into it, because all the electricity goes straight to the tires, I think I'd be fine. But I'd probably get a few broken legs. Mortar, really slow, really slow. Maybe when I get closer to it, it could be a little bit scary, but because it takes so long to actually attack, I think I'd be totally fine. Barbarians, yeah, no shot. First off, I'd have to wield a pretty heavy sword, and I'd have to take down 5 barbarians who are immensely strong, and yeah, are angry and rageful and stupid, and they probably will kill each other in the process, but I'm not making out of that alive. Minion horde, yeah, no. Nope. No, maybe with the regular minions, I could withstand. I could probably kill like 1 or 2 of them, and then like the last one just hits me really bad in the shoulder and the head, and I, concussed. But if there's 6 of them, I can't. No, nope. My arm's not that good. I don't have the best hand-eye coordination. Okay, so I'd come out with minor injuries with a tombstone, but the problem is that once I actually break the tombstone with my knife or just kicking over the tombstone, 4 of them spawn out. And that might be a problem. So I think I think I'd come out with some major injuries realistically. Again, if I could just kick them, kick, stab, and they're very easy to kill, the skeletons. Having to deal with like 2 of them at a time, and then also I think one of them would probably like puncture an artery and not be good. Musketeer. I would need some massive target practice for this. I do not have the speed or the accuracy to match the Musketeer. I'd realistically be dead. Honestly, Valkyrie, I think I'd be able to come out of here with no damage. Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm decent at axe throwing, and even though the axe is huge, right? I get multiple axes. She only spins in a circle, right? And she only attacks up close. So if I can just take both and just right at her, I think I'd be fine. But if not, I'm probably dead. Hog Rider. Okay, I get to ride a hog and I have a huge hammer. I'm done for. Yeah, no. I don't even know how. First off, I don't even know how I'd be able to lift up that huge hammer in the first place. And he's just gonna, yeah, way too experienced. I'd probably fall off the hog and then the hog would eat me. Okay, I'd just be dead immediately. Mini P.E.K.K.A. So I get like a little suit of armor, I guess, to make it fair, and I also get a short sword. Um, he has a lot of power though. I don't. I think I might be able to make it out barely alive. Uh, because similarly to the knight, he only does his little thing, but has a lot more power to it, and also the armor is going to be borderline impenetrable. So I'd have to keep hitting at him while dodging. But I think I might have a chance. Fireball. No. Yeah, Fireball, I'm just dead. Bomb Tower? Okay, so Bomb Tower, I don't I don't know. I don't think a truck would help really. Maybe if I could put a brick on the truck or something and have it drive down at the building and then I jump out the last second before I die, before I ram into it, that'd be the only way it could work. But other than that, I don't think I'd have a chance at this. Goblin Hut. So I would just get a bunch of yeah, no. No. Well, hold on. Firstly, I can be smart about this. In order for goblins to start approaching, I'd have to start being close to it. So if I can start the match from far away and just start throwing at it, I'd be fine. But then I think two of them spawn out after that. So then I would have to I'd have to have a spear up. But I know I'd die in that spear up. So realistically, here's what I'd have to do to barely survive this, right? Which I don't think I would survive this, but I'd have to go in there with a spear and just start stabbing all of them. Right? If they're just spear goblins and they're weaker than regular goblins, and I'd have to kill them before they start spawning a ton, right? I could just run in there, guns blazing, take down like one or two of them that spawn, and then just stab the other ones while they're still sleeping. That'd be the only way. Other than that, I'm a dead man. Giant, no. I don't think I'd be able to. I don't get a weapon. I don't get super strength. That's not how it works. Uh, I, I think I just die. He's pretty fast. I mean, it's not like he's super fast, but like he goes, like that. Um, the only thing actually that would maybe make me win is like he only does one punch, so I'd have to climb up his back, right? Dodge that one punch, right? He just keeps doing the punching forward. If I could dodge it, climb on his back, and maybe like just rip his eyes out with my bare hands, that'd be the only way I could do it. But again, otherwise, I'm just a dead man. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Wizard. I'd have to master the magic in a day. I don't think I'd be able to do that. Um, I do not think I'd be able to master the dark arts in a span of a day. Not at all. Uh, so yeah, Inferno Tower. Uh, I don't know if there's anything I can do. So I was gonna say maybe I could use a riot shield, but if I use a riot shield, that's just gonna like heat up and then be useless. Maybe I could like do another truck idea. But then if I have to jump out of the truck, like it'll just target me and then I die. Um, but then if I'm also in the truck and it locks onto me, I'm also gonna die. I don't think I survived that. Rocket, I do not survive either. Yeah, there's just no way I could survive a rocket. Elixir collector, could collect elixir with it. Barbarian hut, I might be able to. Because similar to Goblin Hut, if I could just go in there guns blazing and only have to deal with 2 barbarians instead of 5, right, I might be able to. Very difficult, but I might be able to. I mean, Mirror's not included because, for obvious reasons. Rage Spell, that would just help me. No, Rage Spell causes me damage. There's nothing I can do with Rage Spell. It's enough to kill a Spear Goblin, which I think I'd basically be around, maybe barely alive. I think realistically, if I was in the game, I'd have a bit more. I think if I was in the game, right, if we were on the game, we'd probably be like barbarian knight, kind of. Mostly barbarians. I feel like most of us should just be like the average barbarian, which can survive rage, but does a lot of damage uh, to us. So skeleton army, I think I'm just dead. Um, maybe barely alive, barely alive. Maybe I could just take the sword from one of their hands and just like throw the guy at all of them like bowling pins. But I don't know, that 13, I think 13, 14 is a large crowd, so I'd have to get really lucky. Goblin barrel, since it's a spell and I can use my budget, I could just buy like a machine gun. Baby dragon. Okay, so similarly to a wizard, I'd have to learn how to use a fireball. I don't think I'd be able to match it. Nope. Freeze spell. Uh, well, freeze. I could just stay in a place where the temperature's really hot. Now I could buy, with my budget, I could buy a car, crank the heat up to maximum, and then just withstand the freeze for like 3 seconds. Witch. Okay, so Witch, if I was using her ability, I'd have to master Necromancy and also Blasts. I do not think I'd be able to do either. And I think by the time I finish off her skeletons, she just kills me. Prince. I get armor and I get a lance. I'm putting this in barely alive. I might have a chance. And it'd be very fun to joust. But to master jousting in a day is not going to go well. Balloon. Okay, so if I get my own balloon, because why not? It's fair. The balloon is technically armor. All right, the balloon is equipment that he gets to use. The balloon gets to use. So I get a balloon as well, and I'd have to throw bombs at the balloon, while the bomber is throwing while the bomber is throwing bombs at me towards my balloon. I don't survive. Even if I somehow kill him, he's probably gonna like ram into me or throw a bomb at me. So it's either I die or we both die. Giant skeleton, I'm not going to be even able to pick up his bomb. And if he doesn't kill me and I somehow find a way to kill him, his bomb will certainly kill me. Lightning spell. Maybe because it's a bit more aggressive than a zap. I still actually no. What am I talking about? If lightning in real life strikes a car, you'll be fine. Goes right to the rubbers. Expo. I think if I had like a riot shield, I'd be fine. I think I would be fine if I just had like a really really good riot shield. But again, it might wear me down. I might get some bruises, but I don't think I'd break any bones or anything if I could just keep going like this with the shield. P.E.K.K.A. I get a massive suit of armor and a massive blade, and that's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to be able to cut through P.E.K.K.A.'s armor, and I'd probably wouldn't even be able to lift up the sword. There's just no way. Golem, I also die. I mean, he doesn't have any powers or any like weapons or anything. I'd have to use my bare fists punching against rock. There's nothing I could do against that. I'd just be a dead man. Royal Giant, I get a huge cannon. That's not I'm not gonna be able to wield that. I cannot carry it like that. I'm just dead. Well, he takes a long to hold on a minute. He takes a long time to shoot. So if I can somehow dodge by then, and then similarly to the giant, jump up on top of him and gouge his eyes out, I might be able to. But I doubt I'd be able to do that. Three Musketeers, I'm just beyond cooked. Not only do I have to learn how to use a musket, I have to eliminate 3 Musketeers before they kill me. Not happening. I'm just dead. Dark Prince, I get a pseudo armor and I get a mace. Which I feel like I'd have a bit better of a chance surviving than a prince. So maybe some major injuries. If I could get that mace right through his armor, hit him in the eyes. Look, his eyes are poking out. I might be able to do that. But other than that, not so much. Poison. I'm gonna assume poison is an air thing. So if I can stay in my car and just wear like a hazmat suit, I'd be fine. Princess, I'd have 5 arrows I'd have to shoot at her. No. She would spot me from like 5 miles away and kill me before I'd be able to even set foot into the battlefield. Not a chance. Ice Wizard, I'd have to master the art. Well, here's the thing. I'd have to master the art of freezing, of ice bending, I guess. But I think I could realistically fight him, like start punching him and just punching at him before his ice kills me. That's my theory. I'm gonna put it as barely alive. Maybe I might be able to land a few hits, or just maybe in like a very theatrical way, right? He's slowing me down. I go like this, right, and I'm choking him out, and he keeps freezing me, and right before I pass out, he dies. Other than that, I think I'm barely of it. A singular fire spirit is gonna cause some major injury. Um, I mean, I don't think I would really die, but I think I'd get some like 5th-degree burns. Well, let's see. It would jump on me and completely set me on fire. So I'd have to roll on the ground a ton until it stops. I might get some 5th-degree burns, or I might just be dead. I think I'd be barely alive though. Furnace, I'm dead. So furnace, I have a spear that would spawn fire spirits. But then what happens after that? I have to kick him. I'd have to kick like metal, like tin. That wouldn't do anything. He just wouldn't die. Especially because the fire spirits won't even hurt him. He's made of fire. I would never be able to win that. Guards, I get a shield and a spear. Guards are probably worse to deal with than skeletons because they have both a shield and a spear. But I think I'd be able to. They still are kind of, short. Don't have a lot of health. I think I might be able to just kind of like go around the side, right, and just kind of, stab them like that. I don't even know if I'm on the frame right now. I don't know if I keep going out of frame when I'm doing that. Miner, I get a shovel and a helmet. This would be interesting. I don't think he might be able to do a lot. I don't think he will do a lot of damage with that shovel. But I think I might get some broken bones in the process. Look, he looks like a sweet guy, someone that doesn't really want to fight. He really just goes there to break some buildings. But I'm going to be there, whack him. Sparky, I just die. It's not a building, so I can't, buy a car or a truck or anything. It's just going to be me and Sparky. It would not end well. The only thing I'd be able to do is maybe dodge it, but its blast radius is pretty big. And also, the other reason why I wouldn't be able to beat it's just going to charge up while I'm on top of it, trying to break it or disassemble it. So I just get electrocuted that way anyway. Lava Hound. Yeah, Lava Hound, I'm just dead. It will just start spitting lava on me, and I can't do anything. Doesn't have any weapons, so I would just stay there. Free Spirit, I might get some pretty nasty, 1st-degree, not 1st-degree. I might get some pretty nasty frostbite, but other than that, I think I'm fine. Bowler. Well, I do bowl, but I can't bowl with a gigantic stone. So I don't think I'd win that. But that that rock is huge. That boulder is huge, and he takes a decent amount of time. And the boulder, sorry, does take a good amount of time to reach its target. So unlike the Royal Giant, who can just shoot me down and kill me instantly, the boulder would take a little bit of time. I think I'd be able to dodge it, maybe. The log, since it's a spell, I'm just gonna sit in my car. Let's see. No, I think a riot shield. I think I'd be able to survive that with the riot shield. Maybe with some broken bones, but I could survive that if I had a riot shield. Lumberjack. I get a hatchet and I get a rage potion. I guess I can drink because he drinks his rage potion. Let's see. He attacks really fast with that axe. Similarly to the Valkyrie, I think I could just throw it at him. But the only problem is that he's really fast, so he might dodge it before he can get to me. Um, but I still think, if I had this rage push, I could just go, so that should be fine. Ice Golem. Ooh, I I don't think I'd be able to beat him, but actually, I have a smart idea. If the battlefield is in the sun, right? How about this? I get to choose the temperature. Or, I get to choose the weather since it's my challenge. I get to choose that it's sunny out. Now all I have to do is run around him, run away from him until he melts. And there we go. I would say I could do the same thing for the Ice Spirit, but it's very fast. Snow Golem super slow. Okay, Mega Minion. Yeah, I'm not surviving that. I get a shield of armor for my head, and I'd have to shoot a gigantic ball, probably like a 30-pound ball of ink at him, or dark elixir. I'm not surviving that. He's gonna walk up to me menacingly and kill me. Maybe I'd be able to grab him and do something, but if he decides to go a little bit too high above me, I can't do anything. Inferno Dragons, I'm just dead. Graveyard Spell, you know what? Graveyard Spell, I think I could come out of there with some minor injuries. I mean, it's the only card in the game where it's RNG or luck involved, but I could just probably stomp on them before they fully form. So I think I wouldn't have a problem with that. Elite Barbarians, I get a head armor and a sword. They're very fast. I'm either clearing the floor with them or they're gonna kill me immediately. Um, but I think they would probably kill me, so I'm gonna put myself barely alive. But if I get a sword, maybe two swords, I could just go like as they're running after me because they're really fast. I might be able to do something, but other than that, no. Tornado spell. I could just sit in a gigantic truck and it should be fine. And it also doesn't levitate me. It would just pull me. That's what that tornado spell does. It's not like I'm like going up in the air and then I fall and I die. No, it just pulls me somewhere. Clone spell? That'd be awesome. I'd love to see a clone of myself. An even better clone. It'd be 1+1 level. I'd have a fighting buddy. Electro Wizard, I'm dead. I'd have to master how to throw electricity at him, and he'd probably just kill me before I could do anything. So yeah, Goblin Gang, I'm dead. By the time I could maybe kill one goblin, I'd have 17 spears through my heart. So yeah, Dart Goblin. If it's just a dart, if it's really a dart, I'm gonna go after him. If it's realistically just a dart, right? It's not the Evo, it's just a dart, and he keeps shooting at me, it's gonna hurt a lot. But I think I might be able to just run into him as fast with all my might and just pick him up and crush him to death like that. That being said, he's probably gonna get me a bunch of times. Maybe barely alive because I might bleed out actually. Battering ram. Let's see. So I'm gonna choose the sword, not the battering ram itself. I'm gonna choose the sword for this one, um, because the barbarians get a sword. I'm thinking by the time if they try to hit me with that battering ram, I can just run into them with a sword like this and stab them. So I'm gonna say I could come out with this with a minor injury because I think I can get them both before they could do something to me. Executioner, I'm no, 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 no. Yeah. As good as I think I am with axes, he is just infinitely better. And he would certainly kill me before I could do anything. Plus, his axe is gigantic. Like, it is huge for him. I would not be able to throw that thing. Bats. Bats, unless they give me rabies, I'm getting some minor injuries. I'm getting a little bit of bites, some cuts and bruises, but, I'm just gonna You know, it's not like it's the Mega Minion or minions where they can throw something at me. They can only attack me by biting me. And well, come here. I'd like to see them try. Heal Spirit, no damage. It would actually help me. Bandit, Bandit. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get some broken bones. If she dashes at me, which she will, and just breaks my arm, it's gonna be horrible. But the second I get my hands on her, taking her up by her throat, boom, choke slam, take that little rolling pin, and you know. So she's gonna get the first hit though, and it's not gonna be great. Let's see. I have a staff that summons bats, so I don't have to do anything. The staff just summons bats. But instead of getting shot at like the witch, I'd have to stab her with that staff. I think I have a decent chance. I'm putting her major injury. I think I'd have a decent chance. She might get me though, so not that great. Skeleton barrel. Uh, if it lands on top of me, which it might, I don't. I think I'm a goner. Um, actually, the fact that it would land on top of me and then summon 10 skeletons, I think I'd be a goner, but because it takes a little bit of time to deploy, if I could just keep running laps around it until the balloons deflate, then I'd be fine. Actually, that's an ingenious idea. If I had to fight the skeleton barrel, I would keep running around until the balloons deflate. And then because there's no break, right? Because the barrel doesn't break, because it just floats to the ground instead, I wouldn't have to fight anything. I'd survive. Flying machine, I'm just dead. It's maybe I get like a little gun or cannon, but it's just gonna spot me from a mile away and kill me. Um, Cannon cart. Do I get my own cannon cart? Technically, I guess I get my cart, right? I get a cart, but not the cannon with it. Because that would be itself. Actually, yeah, yeah. I get my own cannon cart, which I think I might be able to distract, and then the cannon cart finishes it off or something. I don't know. All right, Mega Knight, I don't win. Mega Knight, I get a huge suit of armor, and I get two probably 150-pound metal balls on the ends of my hands. That is not going to help me. And because he does splash damage when he jumps, I don't think I'd be able to evade that in time. I'm dead immediately. Zappies. Zappies, I think I could probably come out with some major injuries. Probably some, like, psychological damage or, like a bunch of electrical shocks or something like that. But I don't think it'd be super bad. Well, let's see. I'd get shocked by all three of them in like 3 seconds. Then they would keep doing it and doing it. Yeah, no, I'm dead. I'm just dead. Let's see. If I can dodge this, which I think I might be able to, it's just a barrel. If I can dodge the barrel, I would just have to 1v1 the barbarian, which I don't think would be that difficult, since it's just one of them. And he's clumsy, and he'd probably swing like this. Actually, no, he'd attack like that. Yeah, he's just clumsy. He'd be dead. Hunter, I'd get a shotgun. I think the Hunter I might actually be able to kill, but I think he'd be able to get me before I get him. But I don't think it would be impossible to get, because I could still kind of I might be able to outsmart him or something like that. Royal Ghost, I can't even see the dude. And he literally has to hit me for me to see him. But maybe if I took his sword and I swung it in a circle and I felt something was off, I might be able to kill him. I'll say barely alive. Magic Archer, not winning that. I can't do archery. Bandits. So I'd have a rolling pin, or I'd have a slingshot with a rock in it. Yeah, that's not gonna go well for me. Snowball. Snowball fight. Well, if it's a gigantic snowball. Yeah, I'll just sit in my car. Yeah, I'll be fine. Royal Recruits? Nope, I'm dead. I get a spear, but I have to deal with 7 heavily armed people. That's not going to end well at all. Royal Hogs, I get a helmet, but then I also have 4 gigantic hogs, basically boars, coming after me, and I'd have to stop all. Yeah, no, I'm dead. Nope. Goblin Giant. Just the spear goblins alone, I'd be dead. It's bad enough I'd have to kill the giant, but I'd just get speared to death. Electro Dragon, yep, he could just keep pestering me from above. I wouldn't be able to get him. Ram Rider, so I get a slingshot with a rock in it, but I'm not that good with slingshots. I think I would. I don't think I'd survive this either. Skeleton Bear, Wall Breakers. If they run into me, I die. Like that's guaranteed. So maybe I could like. Oh, I'd get 2 barrels. I could try throwing it at them. I think I'd be able to survive that. Earthquake. I might come out maybe just not alive, depending on how bad the cracks go. If it's like a minor earthquake, no pun intended, minor, where is it? Minor earthquake. I'd be able to survive, but if it's like the whole ground is shifting, I'm not surviving that. Goblin cage, I won't engage. Simple as that. Well, actually, over time, never mind. Over time, the goblin comes out. And he's super strong and buff. Maybe. Maybe I can beat him. He tries slapping me with the fish. I don't think getting slapped with the fish would really hurt. I think I'd probably punch him to death before he could do anything with that fish. Elixir Golem? Uh, I don't think I win that at all. I think he would actually just suffocate me in the elixir before I could even land a punch on him. Battle Healer? Let's say I get 1 sword. She gets the same attack, and I get a sword. Yeah, it'll be kind of like Knight. Firecracker? I'm gonna put this in major injury. No, barely alive. Because I'm not saying that I might be able to beat her, but I will surely try. Because I hate the firecracker. And I'm gonna give it all I got. So just because of that, I think I might be able to outwit her. Royal Delivery, let's see. I have a truck. And then I run over the recruit. Yeah, I could survive that. Skeleton Dragons, nope. I'm just dead. Electro Spirit, it'd probably give me some horrible electric shock. Electro Giant, yeah. Much worse than the Electro Spirit. It's gonna keep shocking me, and that's just gonna punch me as I'm getting paralyzed. I'd be dead. Mother Witch. Let's see. I wouldn't have to. Oh, I'd have to learn how to use the staff. But unlike the regular witch, I wouldn't have to deal with the skeletons. I would have to learn necromancy. So I would just have to really learn how to use that staff. I'd say I'd be able to come out of there barely alive. Maybe slowly possessed by the Mother Witch, but if I could just run up and just, stab her, with that staff or punch her, I might have a chance. Goblin Drill, I think I just die the second it comes underneath me. The ground shaking, I can't, its radius is huge, I won't be able to dodge in time. I think I would just die before I can even do anything. Golden Knight, I get wavy hair and a huge sword. Sword's probably way too big. And it attacks much faster, so it's just a much worse version of the Knight. I think I come out of there barely alive. Archer Queen, I'm not, yep. And then she goes invisible, and then I'm dead. Well, I'd also get to go invisible. But yeah, I just would not be able to do anything in time. Skeleton King, I get armor and I get a huge club. I don't know if I'd be able to lift up that club and hit the Skeleton King. Um, but I'd say I might have a chance. I might have a chance. Mighty Miner. I'd have to carry a gigantic drill around me. But here's the thing. Actually, no, I'm just dead. I'm just dead. I take it back, by the way. I do not get the Archer Queen's ability. I wouldn't be able to do that, you know? But the Mighty Miner. If the Mighty Miner, because he takes a long time to attack, you know, he's pretty slow, so I'd be able to dodge him. But then the problem is, if by the second I'm almost done killing him, he uses his ability, I die. I just get a grenade. Think about it. I'm about to kill him. He just leaves a grenade on the floor and I die. I can't do anything. Phoenix, I'm just dead. Monk. Monk, this would be like martial arts type of stuff. He's a master, but I might have a chance. Little Prince, I'm dead. He's just gonna call his little buddy immediately. And by the time I can get my armor, well, I'd have armor and a sword, right? I get armor, a sword, and also the arrow, the crossbow. So I might be able to shoot the crossbow at the little prince, but the second he sees me, he's just gonna call his guardian, and then probably by the time I am done with the guardian, I'm gonna have 20,000 arrows shot into me, so I'm just dead. Void spell, I don't survive that. This guy, I don't survive. He's just gonna run right into me. I get to throw firecrackers at him. Actually, maybe I could lay down like 50 firecrackers. You know, if I could just go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like, you know, because they're small, so I could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then as he's running at me, just keep throwing them. I might be able to win that. I might blow my hand off. Actually, I'm gonna say major injury. Goblin curse. Uh, barely alive. Barely alive. Almost turned into a goblin, taking some serious damage off of that, but I don't think I'd be dead. Goblin machine? Yeah, no. Nope. It's gonna target, literally lock onto me a rocket, and I died. Suspicious bush. I get the weird rock mallet things that they get. Um, they attack pretty fast, but they also look smaller than the average goblin. There's only 2 of them. I could probably come out of there with a minor injury, probably some cuts and bruises. I don't think they'd be able to break my arms. Goblinstein, no. I lay a finger on Goblinstein, I get electrocuted in 2 seconds. There's no way. Rune Giant, I'd have to wield that huge hammer. But she's passive, though. No, never mind. She attacks, she attacks. She'd have to attack with her with her huge hammer. I think I'd probably break a few bones, but I could probably go on top of her and just kill her. Um, Berserker. Okay, Berserker. I'm probably gonna get some cuts and bruises, but realistically, I could just punt her like a football. Boss Bandit. I'm just dead. I'm dead. I don't even. I might get a bomb. I might get her rolling pin or whatever, but she's just gonna keep dashing into me, and there's nothing I can do. It's gonna be brutal. Spirit Empress on the ground. On the ground. Minor injury. But the second she uses her dragon, I'm dead. So I'm just gonna put barely alive. Oh, never mind, never mind. Oh, I have both of these. Okay. Dragon, I'm just dead. Well, Dragon, I'm just dead. And the regular Spirit Empress, minor injury. No, major injury. I think I could beat her. Vine Spell, barely alive. Barely alive. It kills goblins, but doesn't kill barbarians, and it would hurt so bad. It'd probably break a lot of bones in my body and cause severe bleeding, but I think if I get rushed to the hospital, I'd be able to survive it. All of these guys, I could either just, you know, get a riot shield and go around them, or I can use a truck. Now, Cannoneer, however, major injury. Because if I do have a riot shield, those cannonballs are going to hurt a lot. They're going to hurt a lot. So, you know, I think I would not stand a very good chance. But you never know. You never know, maybe. Well, then, I put Cannon as barely alive. And this would be coming down at an angle. But I'm assuming that the cannonballs shot from the Cannoneer are not as strong as the cannonballs in the cannon. Actually, no, that logic's so flawed. They would obviously use the same. Yeah, I'd make it out barely alive. So, that sucks. Okay, now we have Evos. Do I want to do Evos? I'll do Evos another time. I'll do Evos for another video. I don't want to drag you guys on long enough. Um, but yeah, that is all the Clash Royale cards ranked by how likely it is I would survive fighting them. So if y'all enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, as it truly helped me out a lot, because I would really, really love to grow this channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below if you agree, disagree, if I could have done anything different with the rules, but I think I did a decent job evaluating all these, so um, just let me know if I did an okay job. But I hope y'all all have a wonderful day. Take care.